What's happening, pimpin'? Welcome back to On The Real, the show where we take a real look at movies, and today we have Independence Day Resurgence. Will this be a worthy sequel to the classic Independence Day, or is it gonna suffer from the sequel syndrome? Let's take a look. Roland Emmerich is very well known for disaster movies such as The Day After Tomorrow, 2012, and the horrible 1998 Godzilla. This means that on a technical level, he is very good at grand scale destruction. But if you've ever seen any of those movies, you know that he's also very good at giving us some old cheesy, nonsensical bullshit too. Case in point, there's always a dog, and we need to save that dog because the feels, guys, the feels. It doesn't matter if you have no emotional investment in any of his characters, everybody loves dogs, right? Now that's not to say that a cheesy movie can't be a good one too. Emmerich proved that with the original ID4. You could feel the love and care that went into that movie, and it was such a hit that 20 years later, it still has enough clout to warrant a sequel. But let me be clear. This movie is a piece of shit. It fails at giving us any new characters to give a fuck about. It leans heavily on returning characters, which doesn't include Will Smith's character, who was the core of the last film. The story is lackluster, and the tropes. My god, the tropes. Let's go through a quick list of the many stupid movie tropes found in this film. Artificial conflict between two leads? Check. The good guy protagonist is the one taking all the hits? Check. Honey, go to your sister's. Shit's about to go down. Check. Fake body under the bed sheets to escape. Check. Slow motion hair whip from the love interest. Check. Moment of silence thinking the hero is dead. Immediately followed by a one-liner. Check. Fucking dog in peril. Check. Car stalling for tension. Check. And finally the annoying Jewish parent. Check. Fuck you, Emmerich. Fuck you. Alright, let's talk acting. This movie tried to do the Star Wars passing of the torch thing, but the main problem is you need interesting characters to take up the torch. The first movie had Will Smith, the most charismatic man in all Hollywood. This movie has a shot of a painting of Will Smith, and that weirdly enough sets the tone for the rest of the movie. With very few exceptions, everyone in this movie is just fucking bland. The whole new cast of this movie delivers performances just as boring, bland, and forgettable as their characters. The first third of this movie is dedicated to introducing and developing these characters, but it feels so forced, empty, and artificial. But worst of all, it's just fucking boring. So instead, let's talk about the standout characters. First off is, of course, Jeff Goldblum. He reprises his role as Levinson, and he just nails it. I mean, these eccentric, I told you so type of characters are exactly what he was born to play, and he does not disappoint. Second is Diobia Opere as the African warlord, Dikembe Umbutu. This guy should have had a whole movie to himself. He plays the leader of an African militia who waged a decade-long ground war with the aliens and is the main badass of the movie. He also drops the line of the movie. They were hunting us. We had to learn how to hunt them. Bars. And honestly, between this and Civil War, I'm liking this new trend of ass-kicking Africans in movies. Keep that shit up, Hollywood. And finally, we have Brent Spiner's Dr. Breakish Oaken, who is honestly the one who delivers the most energetic performance in this movie. You can tell he was happy to be a part of it and really went all out. If only he wasn't in a shitty movie. As I said before, Emmerich is at least technically proficient, meaning he can shoot large-scale destruction and he is decent with CGI. The movie takes place in multiple different locales, including space, and it looks decent. The CGI itself is a bit iffy at times, and there is a dogfight scene which is a bit confusing since the aliens and the alien tech human planes look so similar that it becomes a huge visual mess. There's also the death scene of Vivica Fox's character, which looked fake as shit. But otherwise, the movie is passable in the visual department. As far as the story goes, aliens invade again. This time, it's explained that they are here to harvest Earth's molten core to power their technology somehow. We are talking about an advanced interstellar traveling species needing fucking molten rocks that can be found pretty much everywhere? But, why be surprised that this dumbass movie has a dumbass story? One new addition is that there seems to be a third species that wants humanity's help in fighting off the aliens and have come to hook us up with new knowledge and tech to do so. But we end up blowing it up instead, right? America. But the story is really only there to serve as a reason for the second invasion and a setup for the sequel this movie wants so bad. There were some very interesting elements that just didn't get their chance in the sun, and I would have loved to see explored more. First is the exploration of the PTSD symptoms that previous alien mindfuck victims are showing in the beginning of this movie. Second is a deeper exploration of the 10-year ground war in Africa with the aliens. We could see how humanity had to adapt to fighting an unknown type of foe and how they finally managed to do it. That would have tied in very well with the theme of fighting off a superior enemy. Also, one point I will give this movie is their future humanity looks dope. I'm a sucker for depictions of a future where humanity puts aside all their petty shit and works together for some common goal. Think Star Trek, Pacific Rim, and now this movie. So this brings me to the rating. First off, I want to say that the OG ID4 is by no means a deep study of the human condition or whatever. It was a dumb popcorn flick with nice special effect, but it also had charisma and memorable characters. This movie has none of that. Even the returning cast can keep this movie from being generic and bland. This is the definition of the sequel syndrome. They try to make it bigger and better without realizing what made the original so great. So I give this movie a pimp hand. It's a disgrace to the original. Even post After Earth, Will Smith didn't want to come anywhere near this piece of shit. Don't waste your time or money. So there you go, pimpin', my review of ID4 2. Do you agree with it? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, click that like button. If you dislike it, click the dislike button. And if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe, pimpin'. This is RawBlack, and I'm out.